Customs value and the electronic value declaration. Every time a shipment crosses into Mexico, customs authorities ask a simple but critical question. What is this merchandise actually worth? The answer to that question isn't just a number on an invoice. It's a legally defined figure, known as the customs value, and it is the foundation upon which all import duties and taxes are calculated. Get it right, and your operations run smoothly. Get it wrong, and the consequences range from fines and detained shipments to formal tax assessments. In this video, we'll explain what customs value is, why it matters, and what changed on June 1st, 2026. What is customs value? Customs value is defined under Mexico's customs law and aligns with the World Trade Organization's Customs Valuation Agreement. The primary method is the transaction value, the price actually paid or payable for the goods when sold for export to Mexico. But here's what many companies miss: the customs value is not simply the invoice price. Depending on your commercial terms, your Incoterm, you may need to add elements such as international freight, insurance, royalties paid as a condition of the sale, and incremental elements, things like tooling, molds, or engineering provided to your supplier at no charge or at reduced cost. For example, if your Incoterm is EXW, meaning your supplier delivers at their factory door, you'll need to add all transportation and insurance costs to reach the correct customs value at the Mexican border. If your Incoterm is CIF, those costs may already be included. The Incoterm you agree to with your supplier is not just a logistics term. It directly affects what you declare to customs. The Electronic Value Declaration. Now, let's talk about the MVE, the Electronic Value Declaration. The obligation to submit a value declaration is not new. It has existed in Mexico's customs law since Article 59, Section 3 was enacted. Importers have always been required to provide and maintain documentation that supports the customs value they declare. What changed on 2026 is the format and the enforceability starting July 31st. The MVE is fully electronic, transmitted through Mexico's single window for foreign trade procedures, and it must be signed by the importer directly, using their official fiscal digital signature, e-firma. This means the declaration is now formally on record in a government system, cross-referenceable in real time against your electronic invoices, transport documents, and tax filings. The MVE applies to both definitive and temporary imports, including those under IMEX programs. One important note: companies with Authorized Economic Operator (AEO) certification retain the option to maintain the MVE in physical format. However, it must be properly prepared and available for any audit or authority request. Who is responsible and what's at stake? Under Mexican law, the legal responsibility for the accuracy and completeness of the declared customs value rests exclusively with the importer. Not the customs broker, not your freight forwarder, the importer. Incorrect or incomplete declarations can result in fines of up to MXN $6,390 per customs entry, penalties of 130 to 150% of any omitted import duties under Article 178 of the Customs Law, detention of your merchandise at customs, loss of deductibility for those purchases, and in serious cases, suspension from the importer's registry. And if an error is found after a customs entry has already been processed and paid, correcting it requires a formal amendment, a rectification, which involves additional costs and administrative steps that are entirely avoidable when the information is accurate from the start. So what should you do? Review the customs value of your raw materials and finished goods. Make sure the values you're declaring or providing to the trade compliance team reflect actual transaction prices and include all the required incremental elements. If your company imports from related entities within the same corporate group, ensure your customs values are consistent with your transfer pricing documentation. The MVE is now mandatory, the systems are connected, and the authority is watching. Getting it right is not complicated. It just requires the right information, shared with the right people, at the right time. Learn more about trade compliance in Prudenza Academy. Built for strategic execution.